Is this working?
Indeed it is.
Okay, well, let me go ahead and call the meeting to order. We're 5 minutes late. We're usually on time. But welcome to our July meeting. And at this time, we're going to hear about our Veteran of the Month from our Pro Tem.
And there's your pictures. Good evening. Tonight, I'm going to recognize our Veteran of the Month for July, Corporal Edwin Lucas Hoffman. Corporal Hoffman enlisted in the United States Marine Corps on January the 22nd, 2012. He attended training for his military occupational specialty as an infantry machine gunner. Following his training, he was stationed at Camp Lejeune, North Carolina, thinking of the other side of the Marine Corps, serving with the 2nd Battalion, 8th Marine Regiment, 2nd Marine Division. During his service, Corporal Hoffman was deployed to Afghanistan, where he participated in Operation Enduring Freedom. He also deployed participating in the Black Sea Rotational Force. Throughout his military career, Corporal Hoffman earned several commendations, including Combat Action Ribbon in Afghanistan, Marine Corps Good Conduct Medal, National Defense Service Medal, Afghanistan Campaign Medal with 1 Bronze Service Star, Global War on Terrorism Service Medal, Sea Service Deployment Ribbon, NATO Medal, ISAF Afghanistan, and his Sharpshooter Rifle Qualification Badge. Corporal Hoffman was honorably discharged on October 22nd, 2016. Upon separation, he made a home in Ball Ground, Georgia, where he lives with his wife, Callie, and their daughter, Ella. His exemplary service and dedication to his country, deeply appreciated. So, Corporal Hoffman, if you'll join us up front. Congratulations. Thank you. Get on this side of it. I'll read the proclamation. In 1954, President Dwight D. Eisenhower signed the first Veterans Day proclamation calling on our nation to pay appropriate homage to the veterans of all its wars who have contributed so much to the preservation of this nation. And whereas our nation has fought and continues to fight battles around the world, the words of that first proclamation still ring true. Let us solemnly remember the sacrifices of all those who fought so valiantly on the seas, in the air, and on foreign shores to preserve our heritage of freedom, and let us reconsecrate ourselves to the task of promoting an enduring peace so that their efforts shall not have been in vain. And whereas we remember with somber and grateful hearts those men and women who have served the United States of America with distinction and valor as soldiers, sailors, airmen, and Marines, and offer our sincere prayers for those who continue to defend the principles on which our nation was founded. And whereas we are proud to recognize our country's veterans and extend the appreciation of our citizens to those who wear the uniform of the United States forces and serve on the front line preserving freedom and liberty. And Mayor, read the last one.
He reads better than me. Now, therefore, I, A.R. Roberts III, Mayor of the City of Ball Ground, do hereby proclaim Lucas Hoffman as Veteran of the Month for the month of July and extend to him our sincere appreciation for his sacrifice and the contributions he's made to our great nation and our community. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mayor.
This proclamation is signed by all our council members except one who isn't here. But we'll get her to sign that too. You want to hold it? Karen, you want to hold on to this?
Sure.
We'll get it signed.
I'll deliver it to you.
That's great.
Thank you, Mayor. And pictures.
Okay, we now you can put the council together and your family together and take some pictures.
Thank you. Come on, Ella.
Your family can live there.
Hey, how you doing?
This is my little brother's name.
I know you, I'm the tallest in here.
Everybody look this way. 1, 2, 3.
Any family pictures? You want someone to take pictures?
Yeah, that's fine. Here. I know. All right, who wants to? There you go. Thank you.
One, two, three. Gotcha.
Thank you.
Yes, see, if I was meeting you, I'd say, sit down. But you'd still be taller, I think. How tall is it?
7 feet.
You could get a mask off.
Chris, how tall are you?
Oh, 6'7".
We're gonna go back to back here.
I said you were 6'9".
We're going to go back up here. How tall are you? Biggest in the pledge of allegiance. You can stand up. We're all going to stand up.
Again, Lucas, thank you so much. And we ask you if you would lead us in pledges to allegiance to our flag. Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Lucas.
Such a professional looking military.
Thank you.
Thank
Take care.
Hi, Ella.
Okay, at this time, we need to approve our agenda. We do need to make some changes to the agenda.
I think we just table each of those items as we come to them,
Okay.
so.
So at this point, can I get a motion to approve the agenda that's in front of you right now? Okay, second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Hi.
Okay, now we'll move on down the agenda. The next item is, we're going to hear some public comments. We've had two people, Cindy, Shearer? Yeah, Cindy Shearer. You want to come up and address us? We're glad to have you here.
Thank you. Thank you very much. First off, I would like to say that I am thrilled with the addition of Ashley because I think that building the community is a huge part of the growth of everything and bringing people together. And as a business owner, it's not so much an issue as it is a concern because I think that I probably deal with it every single day where you guys talk about it every now and again. And so my major concern right now is where we are with open container. I know that there's a little bit of a dead heat here where some are for and some are against. And I would like to know that I'm moving forward doing the right thing because we've kind of gotten some strange information from where we started to where we are now. And I certainly would like to see it. It would benefit us. I think it would benefit a lot of the events that we have going on. But I would also just like to open up a dialogue to whoever is against it to understand what the negatives are and where you don't see it working out for us.
Okay, well, we are discussing it. We're probably not in a position to make it, since we have heavy truck traffic on the state highway coming through the middle of our downtown. We're not going to be as open as other cities are that don't have. They can shut the road down.
Right.
But we are working on that now. I would say you feel like you want to reach out to any of us to encourage us to do what you think should be done, then we'd be happy to hear your opinion.
And how do I open up that dialogue? Reach out directly?
You can email.
Yeah, you can email.
Okay.
Any or all of the council members
Okay.
and request to sit down and discuss with them and to give your point of view.
Okay, I would like that.
Okay.
Thank you so much. I appreciate your time.
Thank you, we're Todd. Okay, Deborah Farr? Welcome.
Welcome, thank you. I'm Deborah Farr, and I live in North Mountain Brook, and I know some of you, I don't know which one, Dennis, or whoever, I'm sorry, that live there, and I appreciate all y'all's work and things that you do for the community, but for us homeowners, it's been some confusion on the lot that is actually directly across from my house, that Pulte, well, the investors, I probably know more about that property over there than I should, but because I knew one of the investors. But anyway, I know that it kind of got sold and people wouldn't, D.R. Horton didn't want it, Smith Douglas didn't want it, Pulte finally said we want it. But from my understanding, and I have a document that says that lot was bought by the investors for the sole purpose of being able to access and tap on to the sewer system of North Mountain Brook, so that they could have that, or they might be on septic tank if not. But it was not to be used as an access road of any means. And I went to the HOA meeting the other night, of course, and some things were put out there, and Pulte's been calling the president of our HOA and said it's not a City of Ball Ground issue, that it needs to, but our HOA won't allow it either. And so they've got this proposed plat recorded showing that easement coming on that lot. And, I don't know how that happens if the city council or whatever, they had another proposed access off of Jordan, which typically emergency accesses are off major interstations, like roads. They're not off into a community. So we're confused about what's going on, and we just want the council and the City of Ball Ground to be transparent with us, because we have documents that say you can't do this, but then they're showing it on their proposed, and we just don't want it to get too far without having some information, or because right now what I have says they can only use it for a sewer tap. And I would like to entertain or talk to somebody, if possible, to represent North Mountain Brook with our HOA to say, what are y'all doing, or what's the proposal here? Because I appreciate everything everybody does, but we elected y'all, and you're supposed to represent us, and we hear conflicting stories, and some of them are not good, and I'm not, it's just stories. But we just need to know what the City of Ball Ground and the council is doing to help us and protect us. And, I don't know who to reach out to.
I posted some information on the Mountain Brook Facebook page after I talked with our city manager to get some clarity. Did you get a chance to look at that?
No.
Okay.
But I went to the HOA meeting the other night, and
I couldn't make it. I had a commission meeting.
that's fine, but, it's kind of been pushed off. That I guess they've been calling down here, and it got pushed off to the president of our HOA. And, I'm thinking, we're in the City of Ball Ground. That is a City of Ball Ground lot. So I'm thinking that City of Ball Ground should be involved,
The city
or?
of Ball Ground does not own that lot. though.
No, but our community is in the City of Ball Ground.
Is that where we did we're missing a sidewalk? And,
No, they
I
put a
think city filled in the
The sidewalk.
segment of missing sidewalk.
but that's a lot.
That's the lot,
Okay.
yes, sir.
Right, in closing, I'll just put this, this is a general warranty deed when the investors bought that lot from Howell and Owens Builders. There's a paragraph in there that says the conveyance of the premises is subject to the restrictions that the grantee shall not use the premises for vehicular access to and from the grantee's adjoining property. This is a legal document, so that, and then I see this, and it's showing that Pulte is going to put something there, and I'm like, okay, how can you do that? And so I just need,
You don't.
for me, I'm looking at the property, and there's several people in here that are close to that property, and, I worked for a big builder for 35 years. I know all the deal, I was the broker. When we bought property, I knew all the things we had to go through. I will say I worked for a builder that respected the other communities around and would never do that to another subdivision, like putting emergency access through there. It's just going to cause some more issues if y'all allow it. So I just need to know where we can get.
Why don't you meet with Eric and our planner, Chris, because they're the experts on all the
Yeah.
zoning and all the requirements. But that was, again, that property was maintained, I thought, for the sewer connection.
Water and sewer.
Water and sewer, and for years the sidewalk wasn't there, but we
Yeah.
finally put it there.
Yeah, I
so it
appreciate
connected
that.
it. But again, I think that based on some of the things you're saying and commenting about, it would be nice for you actually to meet with those two.
I'm going to address it real quick.
Yeah, I mean, because, you don't know what the impact of, we all said about the sewer and water, but.
Right, and Chris and I are happy to meet. Just give you a real quick one real fast on, Granddaddy had a saying, he never knew paper to refuse ink. So you can see a lot of drawings, doesn't mean they are anything.
No.
The city does not have, the fire requires a development of that size to have multiple entrances.
Sure they do.
The lot has that deed restriction. I think Mr. Nelson probably posted something about that.
Posted the information.
Right, posted that information. So they bring it in, but nothing has been approved, and the reason Pulte is talking with your HOA is because we tell them we can't approve that. What this body could do is build a road there, okay? But there's never been discussion of that. There's never been a talk of making an entrance there,
How
because
could
we
you
don't
do-
want the
How could
property.
you do that with this saying you can't?
Because it's, really don't want to, there's no threat here, okay? I'm just saying,
No,
cities
I'm just
have,
asking.
cities have the power of eminent domain where they can take property. This body has never discussed that, okay? I just want to make that very, very clear.
I hope, because
They have never
Northbrook is a
discussed
nice
that.
community.
So that's what I'm
It's only
saying.
for
That's
water
how,
and sewer.
that's the only way a road could go there without your community as an HOA agreeing to it by that document.
But I also heard, and this is hearsay, so I do not know, and I don't know who it was, that there was a proposal to put the emergency access for fire trucks and different things because of the railroad thing, off of Jordan Road, and the city of Ball Ground denied that, is what I was told.
City of Ball Ground doesn't have the authority to deny that because that is a county road.
county road.
And only Cherokee County can control the access from Jordan Road or Old Canton, because that is all Cherokee County. So Ball Ground is not denied anything. We can't deny an entrance on a county road.
Okay, so that makes sense now. So that subdivision is going to be county or city?
No, the property is in the city, but
But the
where they
road.
get out onto their two roads.
Gotcha.
So the subdivision would be in the city, all the internal roads would be city streets. but their entrances would enter and exit on county roads.
Okay. Sorry, but somebody threw y'all under the bus because they were saying that you all denied it. So
We-
that's it, that's what I'm saying.
We can't deny it.
Yeah, so then Cherokee would be
What
the person
what
I
we
would have to
encouraged
say.
them to do was reach an agreement with the railroad so that the traffic exited onto Old Canton Road
Right.
instead of Old Dawsonville and Jordan. They're having difficulty with the railroad, and I understand, but they've got to figure out between the railroad and Jordan, and they can only do their emergency exit with your HOA's blessing.
Okay, all right, thank you. Appreciate it.
Okay, thank you. But again, if you would like to speak some more with Eric and Chris, I'd be glad to do that. Okay, at this point, we'll move on to announcements.
Just hit a few right quick, and I probably lost some. We've got so many things going on right now, but every Saturday, 6 to 8 p.m., we have the unplugged sessions in City Connection downtown. They're really picking up popularity. It's Parks Month in July. Had a great turnout for yoga in the park last weekend. This weekend is Pilates. On the 20th will be Zumba. And then also on the 20th, they'll have the Back to School Bash down there in City Park. 7/27 will be Christmas in July with the downtown merchants. And 7/27 will be Lab Blast in the park. And I'll tell you, I'm not sure exactly what that is, but it's an exercise thing of some kind. That's it, sir.
Lab Blast. Okay, that's very active,
Barry.
so that's good. Let's move on now to approve the minutes from June 13th meeting. Council members have received copies of that and verified it. Is it okay to go ahead and approve it?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from last month.
Okay, motion made by Dennis,
Second.
second by Chris. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Good job, Karen. Karen been doing minutes for how many, 38 years, 39 years? 39 years. So she knows how to do them. We're going to move now to old business. And the first one is considered second reading of the request of farm winery license wine consumption on premises. And again, we covered this at our last meeting, but Eric, why don't you give a summary of what we're voting on again?
The folks at Rock Solid are asking to be able to add wine. A way for them to do that is become a Georgia farm winery. They'll have to obtain their license through the state to accomplish that. They cannot get a state license unless we issue a local license first. They have completed their background checks and completed the required notices, both at the establishment and in media. And first reading has already passed this body, so if you approve it tonight, then that approval will go to the state and they'll be eligible to apply for their state license.
Okay. Can I have a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve.
All right. Scott, a second.
Second.
Chris? Okay, any further discussion? We did include not allowing liquor to be served out. So it'll be beer and wine from Georgia. So at this point, all in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. It's now, it's in effect. So hopefully this going through the state won't take a long time. So but we've done our job here. Second item under old business is consider the second reading of ordinance dealing with impact fees. And Eric, why don't you update us why we need to table that?
The law requires that we submit the ordinance to review to the Atlanta Regional Commission. Once they review, they submit it to the Department of Community Affairs. We've received comments back. Comments were addressed at the ARC level. It is now at DCA. Today marks 45 days, but they still have not completed their review. Their interpretation is they have 45 work days, business days, not 45 calendar days. So without their blessing, we cannot adopt. We're asking to table till the next meeting.
Okay. Could I get a motion to table
Motion.
second reading? Okay. Chris, second.
Second.
Vicki, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, we will address this. Hopefully, we'll hear from DCA by next month's meeting, and we'll address it at that time. We move now to items under new business. The first one is to consider the adoption of the millage rate for 2024 on our property tax. We've done a lot of discussions and considerations, and what we've done is decided to actually not raise any taxes, and we're going to be lowering it because our tax total went up. So, Eric, you want to give a summary?
Yes, we had previously discussed a millage rate of 3.732, and that is what we advertised. Last week, I guess it was, we got our final digest numbers from the assessor's office once they had completed all the appeals. And rerunning those numbers, the new millage rate for no tax increase is a rollback to 3.726. That's the only rate we're allowed to adopt and remain revenue neutral. We'll say from the meetings we've had, I do think that this is the only entity in Cherokee County that will be rolling back taxes. You will see your tax bills go up, but they are not from City of Ball Ground taxes. So.
That's right. We're finding our property values are increasing here. So even though we're rolling the millage rate back, most property tax will actually go up a little bit, but not because of our rate. So
well, and because it appears others are actually increasing their millage rate or at least holding steady. So there will be, like I said, they'll see increases in the bills. But Ball Ground is revenue neutral, no tax increase.
okay, at this point then, can I get a motion to approve the rate of 3.726?
Make a motion to approve.
Okay, motion made and second. Any further discussion? We have work sessions every month, and we do a lot of discussion at that time. So, and you turn the clock back years ago, we rarely had work sessions. So a lot of times we'd start discussing it in the middle of voting, but we don't have to do that. We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, that's our 3.726. It was our millage rate for 2024. It's down from
3.932.
from last year. It was 3.932, so it's down a few percent. Okay, next item, consider adoption of fire tax millage rate for 2024. We actually agreed to just handle the same. We share our fire services with the county, and so the county sets that rate. And when we signed up to be part of it, actually having 24-hour service here in our city, we agreed that we'll pay whatever the county agrees to. And there is a range, but you want to give us specifics, Eric?
They're having their public hearings. The Board of Commissioners will set the rate next Tuesday evening. They have floated the number. Fire asked for an increase in millage rate to 3.010. last discussions, it looked like the Board of Commissioners was probably going to just give them about 2.9 instead of the 3, but we won't know that until they vote. The terms of, and actually this was, the fire tax in Cherokee County was actually a voter referendum years ago. So it was done by voter referendum. It can never exceed 5 mills, but it can go up to that. Under the referendum and the contract, we're obligated to pay Cherokee County at whatever millage rate they set. So we're a pass-through. We collect a pass-through. Our residents pay the same as the county resident and gets the same coverage. So we just ask each year for the, we're going to have our digest and all our numbers to the tax commissioner's office next Thursday to meet the state deadline for the digest to go in and be certified. So we just need the authorization to submit our documents at whatever millage rate the Board of Commissioners sets.
We really don't have the choice.
No.
So, but at this time, I ask for a motion to approve accepting the county tax, fire tax digest number.
Motion to approve.
Okay, motion made, second.
Second.
All right, Chris, Dennis, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. In the years ago, when we first became part of having the fire tax, it got shown on our tax bills as a separate item. It'd say Cherokee County fire tax. Now it goes in with ball ground. So it looks like our taxes are higher, but I wish they could still do what they used to do. At this point, let's move on to consider first reading of an ordinance to amend zoning code section 106.1, special land use permits. You want to give us a summary of that, Eric?
We had the public hearing on it earlier this evening, but basically what this ordinance does is it removes gas stations, among other uses, truck stops, tobacco shops, massage parlors, things like that, from a right of zoning. So there's no zoning classification where somebody can come in and buy the property and build that. There's several zoning classifications they will be allowed in, but only as a special use. So if they want to do that, they'll have to fill out the zoning application, and it's presented to mayor and council. Mayor and council will decide if they're going to allow that at that particular location.
So again, this is the first reading of a change in the ordinance to allow that. So we have discussed that at our work sessions, and I think we're ready to act on it. Somebody would give me a motion to approve the first reading.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the first reading.
Okay. Motion made by Vicki, second by Chris. Any further discussion, comments? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? We're usually all together, which is usually good. Okay, well, we'll have the second reading at our next council meeting to put it into effect. Next item is consider a resolution to adopt the capital improvement element, CIE. This is something that's linked to the impact fees that we've tabled that we can't act on, so this is something we'll have to table as well. Any comments, Eric, any more?
The only change that's been made to this document is in the first round of comments. This is the list of projects that we said we were going to try to complete with impact fee dollars. They had us remove landscaping. Landscaping is not an eligible project for impact fees. So that's been taken off of the capital improvement element.
Even though it's showing on this?
Yeah, this is just an example of what projects are.
Okay.
But yeah, we had to remove it.
Okay, well, now I ask for a motion to table this CIE resolution until we get DCA approval?
I'll make a motion to table CIE.
Okay, Scott, second.
I'll second.
Vicky? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? No. Again, this is hopefully, once we receive approval from DCA, we can act on it at our next meeting. Next item is consider annexation petition. It's a parcel at 1355 Old Canton Road. That's on the north side of the city. You want to give any background on that,
Is the
Eric?
parcel's just below it there that says inside the city limits. They've currently done their first few submittals to Chris for a light industrial park to go in there. They're also going to be putting one of the buildings on this parcel. And what they wanted to do was annex it into the city so they didn't have a little light industrial park with 4 buildings in the city and 1 building in the county. So that could all be done under one plan review, one set, and then afterwards for public safety, everything in there is one jurisdiction.
Okay, again, that's been discussed at work session. We understand what they want to put in, and it's adjacent to other industrial
Yes.
uses, and so at this point, a motion to approve this annexation petition.
Motion to approve.
Okay, Chris, second.
Second.
Dennis? All in favor?
Aye.
No opposed? Good. So that's, again, that will be in the city and actually be able to start developing onto that property using our requirements. Okay, next item under new business, last item is consider the adoption of the Georgia Stormwater Management Manual. This is something that we're required to do because of we're in a water authority group that if you go 2 miles north of us, they're not in. But we're required to do a lot of things that all Metro Atlanta counties do. And you want to update us, Eric, on what we're approving?
Yes, it's just for the council to formally adopt Georgia Stormwater Management Manual. Is our method of reviewing stormwater plans. We've used this document for years. We use Brevity Engineering as our stormwater engineer. This is the manual they use, but in the audit we have coming in September, they want to see where we officially adopted the document that we're using.
Okay. Could I get a motion to adopt it?
I'll make a motion to adopt.
How many pages is it?
The manual,
Uh-huh.
a little over 300 and
You studied it?
I studied it, it's been studying.
We all did, yes.
Yeah.
We always do that. Okay, motion by Dennis, second by Chris. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. None opposed? So we now have adopted the Georgia Stormwater Management Manual that doesn't have to be adopted 2 miles from us to the north.
300 pages.
Yes. Okay, well, that concludes the new business that we have on our agenda tonight. And at this point, let our city manager provide his comments
we'll start with Chief G.
since the last meeting.
Good evening, thank you.
Chief?
Much to the mayor's comments and the young lady that spoke with Open Container, the PD itself is collecting data, doing some research, trying to vet what's myth and what's factual. So we're trying to give council as much raw data and as much information as we can so they can make a decision. I agree with the mayor, it's a very tough call because of the uniqueness of the roadway and the large amount of trucks and vehicles that are on it. Going into that, we had a great concert turnout. I think it was actually doubled what we were expecting. Our crime stats For some reason, we were having some issues driving on the roadway. We had 12 accidents, which is a lot in a month. We had a couple domestic disputes, one where alcohol was involved. It was a Pickens County resident the night of our fireworks, so I feel a little bit better about that. It wasn't a city resident, so kind of makes you feel a little bit better. We wrote 40 citations, but more importantly, we gave 22 warnings out of 60-something stops, 16 for speeding, 10 on Old Canton. It seems to be that we're having an issue with our speed in Old Canton. And with the amount of accidents that we had, 6 people were cited for following too close, which is very common. Someone hits somebody in the rear end. A lot of times insurance companies, unfortunately, they won't pay a claim or do something without somebody being shown in fault. So that's where 6 of the citations came from. All in all, we have seen a decrease in our speeding, which is good. We're more visible, I think, and we've staggered our hours a little bit, so we want people to always think that we're out there as opposed to when we're out there. So we're doing a little staggering there, and it's worked out really well. Again, the oak container we talked about. Councilman Barnes brought up something last month, and we really saw it at the last concert, is the issue with smoking in our park. I think in 2024 we can all agree that smoking in parks and children just don't mix. They just don't. So we did see that. A lot of it was the vape, and I'm no vape expert, and I know there are a lot of studies still out there that haven't determined the long-term effects on that. But what I will tell you is that when someone exhales some of that vape mess, the cloud seems to hover more than it does with traditional cigarette or tobacco, where it seems to dissipate a little bit more. And at the concert, we could really see it. We had a lot of people that were vaping, and it was just hovering over the crowd, and that's just not healthy. I know Chris has looked at some things, and there is a state law I think that we're going to look into. But again, that was something that we took out of that. Again, more data we can take out of that, the more information we can give the council so they can make a good decision. You know, oak container was an issue. When discussed with a lot of residents, they just didn't have any knowledge that it was prohibited. There was also some conflicting, like the young lady said, at some events when it's sponsored by this, by the city, it was allowed, and at other events it wasn't. So I think there's just some natural confusion. Many people thought a state law actually allowed them to walk down the street with a beverage, and these people are being truthful. They've got, we're asking, hey, why did you do this? So we're getting a lot of that data, and people were walking openly out of businesses, not thinking twice. Yes, it was very busy, and business owners might not have been able to watch the door as much, but I do want to commend the Burger Bus. They went a step further. They were putting signs up telling people that you couldn't do that. They didn't have to do that, but I do appreciate the cooperation between our businesses and what we do. Kudos to them. They didn't have to do that. So going that extra step, really is, I think people are just looking for some clarity. And before we get to that point, we've got to give the council all the information and what we're seeing before they can make a decision like that. So we are working on that. We're constantly seeing some things and trying to outline some things and giving them as much information as we can. Like I said, the Georgia Air Act of 2005 does allow more restrictive local laws and rules. So it does allow us to do some different things. But more importantly, it would ban vaping. And honestly, we saw cigars, we saw cigarettes, and we saw vapes at the last concert. What that would do with proper signage and us getting them out there, it will eliminate that. So I think we're in the right direction going that way. Again, is see what we're seeing, report back to the council, and move on. So that's one thing there. Something that did surprise me a little bit is when you have fireworks and you're shooting these beautiful fireworks and the show was great, but you got to understand there's got to be a safety diameter from where we're shooting to where people can be safe. And this one was 300 feet. So it's not just 300 feet north or south, it's in a circular. So some roads had to get closed. And unfortunately, we didn't like residents that couldn't get to a certain roadway at a certain time. And the poor public works guys, they're out there trying to shut down roads, put barricades up. That's not, arguing with them on the side of the road isn't what we need to do. So we took that at the PD and said, okay, strategically, where do we need to be placed and what needs to be done? That was just a little hiccup that we had. We don't want kids on the playground area when they're inside that, they call it the hot zone. So we made sure that the playground was cleared. So we got some things that we're going to do in the future to help residents understand why we have to close some roads and give some alternate routes. Public Works guys did a great job having to deal with all that, and that's just something that they shouldn't have to worry Teamwork, outstanding teamwork, again, Public Works. It was mentioned earlier, Ashley Bird is a rock star. If you haven't looked at the Facebook page lately and you haven't seen what's been going on, I know y'all have, that stuff's not easy to do. It's a lot of coordination, a lot of hard work, and she is putting her time in. She is phenomenal. Love working with her, the timing, everything, the communication with her is great, and I think we're seeing the labors of her hard work where we've had great concerts. I think the fireworks, I know well over 7,000 people were there. I know some might not be, I'm excited about the Christmas parade and planning that because Ashley's gonna be on board with that. So I think Ashley is just phenomenal. The PD guys, there's nothing that I've asked them to do that they wouldn't do. Many of them were off, they came in on their off time. So, kudos to them. And the fire department. Not only do we have the fire department there on scene for the fireworks and everything else, they were in service there, meaning that if we had a call inside ball grounds, some other department, they moved other people to the fire station, so they dedicated that time to us. That's huge. And, thank you to Chief Robinson. I personally called those guys. And it came in very valuable. We had a resident who had suffered from a stroke. He got separated from his family. You talk about a nervous police chief, you got 7,000 people, and this person separated from their family, it made me, shiver a little bit. Fire was with me, we were able to call the family, got the gentleman back home. Those are things that as a police chief I worry about, children and those kind of things. Fire was right there to check the gentleman out. It was hot, and luckily he was okay. They stayed with him, stayed with me, so thank you to the fire department. They don't have to do that. That was just an extra courtesy that you did. So all in all, the teamwork was outstanding. Little things little wrinkles here and there with Public Works and some other things, but the PD had a great month. I think you're seeing us out more. We love interacting with the people. We're teaming up with Ashley for July. We're going to do Pops with Cops, ice pops with the police at the backpack giveaway. So you're going to see us more and more, and I know I keep saying that, but I think with school starting August 1st, you're going to see a lot more patrols up and down Valley Street. We're there every morning getting those kids off the school bus. That's the best part of my job is when I get to fist bump those kids. So you're going to see us out more and more. Again, we're as transparent as we can be. If you got a question, comment, concern, I'm not hard to find. Webpage, phone number, just call me. I'll meet you here. I'll meet you wherever. I want to hear if we're coming up short or if you got a question, ask. I'm just going to tell you the way it is, and we look for that interaction. We're not going to get any better without it. So all in all, great month.
Any questions of the chief? Thank you, Chief.
Thank you, Chief Jamie. We really, the quality of our police department has changed so much better. And I do, we do see police officers, all over the city now, and that's important. So we appreciate it.
June ended our fiscal year, so June 30 marked the end on our books. We had a fair year. We didn't put as much money back in reserve as we'd like, but we accomplished some good projects this past year. General fund, we closed the year with almost $1.1 million in cash reserves, but remember, we're in our non-revenue season. We won't take in more revenue till October, so we're kind of living off of this until then. SPLOST, we closed at $333,000. Fire at $2,183. Utilities at $1 million, almost $70,000 for a total of almost $2.5 million cash on hand. Our revenues for June, as you can see, like I said, we're in our non-revenue. We're at $89,000, almost $90,000 against $200 and almost $8,000 in expenditures. The highlight, though, is at the end at the $5.8 million in year-to-date revenue and about $5.4 in year-to-date expenses. So some of our funds closed the year better than we started and still accomplished a good number of projects. In administration, June 30, like I said, we're closing fiscal year. Finance is working hard on that and getting prepped for the upcoming audit. Retirement account evaluation, inventory. Inventory, again, this year came out with 0 deficiencies, so we were very pleased with that. And we're also beginning a search on new software systems for the city. Our utility billing software is just not user-friendly for our staff or for our customers. And so looking at some solutions there, it still needs to integrate with our finance software, but just something that our customers can see better online and that our staff can use better as well. Our city clerk search, since Karen's decided to jump ship in December. Mayor and staff have narrowed the field. Karen has packets for each elected official this evening with the four final resumes for elected officials to review. Once you review, there's several ways we can do it. We can have some offline conversations, but we can have special called meetings and then go immediately into executive session to discuss and conduct interviews. Sometimes that's done at City Hall. Sometimes it's done like at the city attorney's office, so you don't have a mixture of people in and out. But we encourage everybody to go through the resumes, contact Karen back with any questions they might have, and we'll get the process started. Capital projects, the roundabout, we're still having some challenges. We've made good progress with the Chevron station. ALO is still presenting a challenge. They're not wanting to cooperate with the easements or the right-of-way that is needed there. They're angry with GDOT. They say they want to be a good citizen with the city, but they're mad at Georgia DOT. City's paying for this, not Georgia DOT, so we're trying to work through these issues with them. The ones in red are the challenging ones. The ones in green are the ones that we have, and the one in yellow is now with the closing attorney to obtain that. We're going to have to be relocating the Waffle House sign and things down there. So, but that one's worked out and with the closing attorney. On the bypass, we'll probably remove this for reporting for the next few months, as there's not going to be much to update. We will bring it back whenever they make the assessment. They pulled all the coring samples. They went down a little over 100 feet. So they have everything there that's gone to the geotechs. We know we hit rock. They just don't know if it's the bad rock that's going to require a lot of dynamiting up on top of the ridge or whether it's diggable rock. So that's what the geotechs will figure out. Mountain Brook sidewalk extension, we can finally say all 10 parcels are acquired. So our target bid date is 15 September, and we're hoping for construction late 24 or early 25 to begin construction on that project. Grogan Street, we've sent the bid sheets out to the paving companies. They're due back by July 31st, and they'll be required to have the paving complete on whoever we select by September 30th. Groover Street and Civic realignment, the all-way stop signs are up there now. We hope to get balk lines down next week, and we've requested the design services on the realignment that we're going to be doing there. You recall the Parks Master Plan has this road right here going away and creating a new road here, and just so and we did receive a grant from Georgia DOT in the amount of $48,000 to help us with that realignment. Public Works, this one's going to be a few minutes. Nothing new to report here. Whether or not Pulte pulls the trigger on that development, the contract has been modified with the Coffees, and they have the right to assign that contract to the city. So we will be able to, if Pulte does not buy this sliver in yellow, the city will be able to, and that's what's going to allow us to get a higher pressure zone water into the top of Mountain Brook, on North Mountain Brook, to increase water pressures in that area. The automated valve installation, hopefully we'll wrap this up by next month. Power was installed. This was a heck of a dig down through here. Don't know if y'all saw that open earlier this week, but power is now run to the vault. our mission communications stuff should be in sometime within the next 2 weeks. And it'll connect this to our elevated water tank. Whenever the water tank falls below 10 feet, this valve will electronically open, bring in purchased water to get it back full. And what this does, the biggest part of this is helps with fire suppression in the city. If we have a fire and they're using a lot of water, the only way in the past for them to get more water would be to call one of the guys at Public Works and ask them to get up at 1 o'clock in the morning and go open a valve someplace. And as we grow, nobody knows who to call to get more water. This will just open and provide it. Water service line inventory, it is complete. It's sitting ready for upload to EPA. We do have 7 services that are required for replacement that are galvanized lines that we cannot prove were never exposed to lead. We are in a holding pattern right now until we're reaching out to all 7 of these homeowners to see if they'll allow us access to change out the service lines. If they will and we can accomplish it by September 30th, then we can remove them from the reporting list and report to EPA that we're 100% compliant, which will remove us from reporting for the next 5 years. So if we can get it all done this year, we don't have to report for the next 5 years. So we're going to try to make that angle happen. Notable issues, we did receive a categorical exemption from EPD on our service line inventory in reference to these 7. We received a commendable note on our wellhead protection. We asked about that earlier. So proud of the city on this. The quote from the inspector from EPD, everything looked great throughout the inspection area. It's always good to see a city that takes source water protection seriously. And all of their experience, y'all seem to be the #1 with your wellhead protection. So that speaks volumes, but again goes to the ordinance that you're looking at. It's things like that that they look at, that we are taking efforts trying to protect our groundwater source. Metro District audit, we discussed that earlier, but here's the one we'll spend a little time on. There's some funky pictures. Mayor Roberts was out of town, so we kept Mr. Nelson updated on this as we went through. On June 30th, we received a high-level alarm at the Howell Bridge lift station. And it's just one of the things that I want to take some time tonight and show. We're very grateful to the elected body for the amount of funding that you've given us over the past year and a half. This one incident, as of this afternoon's estimate, is going to run us almost $120,000 for the amount of damage that was done at this facility. When we got there and opened it up, if you can see in this picture on the left-hand side, you see how those cables are twisted. For those that aren't familiar with the sewer lift station, you have 2 pumps in the bottom of a well that's about 30 feet deep. They're 40 horsepower pumps. They weigh about 500 pounds apiece. So the cords come up through the top. These are the power cords. If you picture on the right, each of these starters in the box, you'll see they have no wires coming out the bottom. As that pump wound, it pulled all those wires through and out, shorting out the starters. The starters themselves are $1,500 a piece. What happened is that we had a shear and the bottom broke off, our pump broke off of the motor. And when that did, the motor just started spinning freely at the bottom of the well and tangled everything up and pulled it. And then it broke everything in the bottom of the wet well. Most dangerous job in ball ground that we have always belongs to this young man here. That's Joey Ingram. He's hanging by a thread down there in the well with raw sewage coming in, trying to get this issue resolved. On the right-hand side, you'll see that the pump, this pump that's higher in the air, this is the pump that broke in half. Or excuse me, this is the good pump. Not anymore, but it was. The pump down here at the bottom is the pump that broke in half and pulled everything out. Well, when it did, it pulled its pull chain, because there's a chain that hangs at the top of the well that you use to pull the pumps out with. It pulled that chain down in, which then sucked up in the good pump. So it shattered the impellers, the volutes, and everything else in that pump. These pumps installed run $40,000 a piece, and we lost 2 of them right there, so that's 80 grand. But our crew, can't say enough about our guys. The attitude is somebody like this that'll just jump in, get in the seat, and go down there. And this is dangerous because what he did was went down between these 2 pumps with one suspended over him to anchor off this chain so we could get a second crane hooked on to not do more damage. The guide rails that hold the pumps are these long rails right here. They're all broken. So we had a mess. The current status is we had enough repair parts on hand to get one of the pumps, what we call limping along, but it's really about 95%. It's pumping at about 485 gallons a minute. The above ground diesel standby is ready to go to work, and it's at 100% operation. That's one of the things we asked for year before last that you gave us. That's a $50,000 pump sitting there. Pump 2, actually, and this information's wrong. We got the call right before a council meeting. They actually finished the testing this evening, and it will be delivered tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock. So we already have a contractor that'll be on site at 9:30, and we will then have our redundant pump back in that hole. The replacement pump that was due to ship on July 17th already shipped and came in today. So we'll be able to set it at the same time tomorrow. Then we'll finish getting the broken pieces out of the bottom of the well and see if any of that is salvageable. With that said, and you can see how nasty this is, and you imagine pulling these pumps out on top of the ground, working with that, and everything that's involved with this process. And this is what the station looked like the next morning, because our guys go in, they clean it up, they take care of it. This is the last place in the world you want a trip and fall hazard, because when you have the hatches open and you trip and you fall 30 feet into raw sewage, it's a bad day. So they do a phenomenal job. So just really wanted to shout on them a little bit tonight. And again, the greatest thing is that we were this close from a major disaster down there, and not a single customer had a clue, and that's the way we like it. Everything, they managed to keep everything rolling, and so that's, our guys did great. Parks and Recreation, had the pond makeover, is now complete. The fountain is working and colors are back into it. The numbers came in for the fireworks at 8,500 people that were at the fireworks. And it was interesting to note on that also, because that just came in this afternoon, 23% of the attendees that came to it came from Canton. So I just thought that was kind of interesting. Whether they do anything in town that night, when we're bringing people from Canton, Cumming, Roswell, Milton, these different places, they get to see our downtown, see our restaurants. They might not come back for a week or 2 weeks, but they say, hey, there's something here, and come back. So that's incredible. This might be a little bit loud, I don't know, or it's not going to play. It is. But when they were talking earlier, this is some of the stuff that Ashley's been able to do and have out on YouTube, have out on our social media, just kind of promoting Ball Ground, promoting the downtown. And it's good to be able to have that skill on staff. She's really doing some good things. Yoga in the park, so lots of good stuff. We had our first sit-down park summit with Cherokee County Parks and Recreation. went over a lot of things at staff level. We'll get with Mr. Barnes and try to schedule a Parks Committee meeting here in the very near future. Parks Committee meetings aren't easy to call. They have to be advertised because we have 3 elected officials on it. But to go over some of the ideas and things that we learned in that session with them. Shifting focus a little bit, you heard a couple of the business owners tonight speak about Ashley, but we've actually moved her with consensus of the mayor and Parks and Recreation Committee and have rebranded her as the downtown manager, still with a focus on parks and bringing events and activity and whatnot to the downtown and really promoting that and trying to get our boost for our businesses. Community development, been working on impact fees, the zoning ordinance. Chris has a ton on his plate right now. The amount that's out there is almost scary. 4 annexations that are in the different stages right now of being discussed and talked about. One of them you acted on this evening, but a lot of plan and concept plan reviews. Building, we are about 39 behind last year. We're at 37 permits since January, so construction is slowing down a little bit, but sales seem to be picking up. So we'll just see where building goes from there. Of our 286 approved units, 65 are permitted. Commercial development, ALO is now complete and open. A convenience store, just really don't know. The beverage store, dry cleaner, restaurant, you notice that area has been cleared. Silt fence is up. They're on their 10-day period there, and they have requested their building permit. We're putting together the water sewer numbers for them now on what those permit fees will be. Potential development, no real change since last month, but these are the ones that are being proposed. Pulte at 145. Concept on the one for Ball Ground Highway at the 41 Towns. They did come back to life. We met with them last week, but they're still trying to figure out what to do with wetlands and floodplain, and that's not anything the city of Ball Ground has authority over. They've got to deal with the Corps of Engineers, and that's where we keep sending them back to. And these are the locations of the potential developments. So that's all we have. If there are any questions.
Thank you. Eric, our manager, I swear he does 10 times more than other city managers do. He's so active and so involved in so many detailed things. It's amazing. But appreciate you sharing all the information. And he shares it with us daily. In the morning, what's going to happen, and then evening, what happened. So I guarantee there's not another city that gets that kind of details from their managers like we do. So thank you, Eric.
Thank you.
Eric's usually up the same time I am.
Yeah.
We talk sometimes in the morning.
Sometimes his emails come at 5:45. I see it at 7. Anyway, but thank you again. I wanted to say something quick. I would like for us to consider setting up another retreat gathering in the fall. What I'm looking at is maybe October 19th. What's happening, we're so involved now, our council is so involved in so many things, and Ball Ground is so alive. We need more time to spend on things. Certainly, I'd like us to get our historic preservation ordinance done, and also our downtown development authority put back together. But I'm just throwing that date out. It's a day that there's not a ball game in Athens. But I think unless you want to go to Athens. for that retreat, but just let me know if that would work for everybody. If
Do you want
not,
us to email back to you, or I'll email back to Eric for the date?
just send it to Eric, if that'll work for you. This is the first time I haven't mentioned it to him yet. But again, I thought, because we usually do our retreat in February or March every year, and but like Canton now does 2 a year, because that's what, in talking with most of you, that's kind of what we want to do. So I'd like to advocate that. If not, we'd have to maybe look in September. But again, check October 19th.
I'll send something out to everybody, and then we can just respond through it.
Let me go ahead. Scott, anything you want to bring up?
Likewise, I just want to thank our Public Works in the heat, literally heat of the day, and keeping us running. As Eric mentioned, nobody even saw the hiccup, but what they deal with is they do that all around the city for us, and much appreciated. And then at our recent training and conference that we had in Savannah, we were having our dinner the one night, and our Jasper mayor was sitting with us and complimented our city immensely on the things that we're doing, and actually stole some of our ideas to put into place in their city. So I took that as a great compliment of the progress we're making. It sometimes, as people say, it moves slow, but behind the scenes I see why a lot, but once we get there, it's like, it's a great accomplishment, and what are we going to do next? And keep moving the ball forward. So it was good to hear compliments from another city.
Okay. Nick?
Yes, I would like to. I wanted to let everyone know that the council, when it was time to set our millage rate, and we all took into consideration of how expensive everything was, how taxes were going to be going up all over the county and everything else, but we put some projects on hold, not forgotten, but just on hold, just so we can give you guys the tax, a lower tax for our city and not increase the taxes. And the other thing was, if y'all don't know Ashley Bird, what Chief G said, she is a rock star, and she's ball grown, and she was born here too, right, Eric? Or was she, but she's,
I think
know
she was
told me
2.
she's been living here forever.
Yeah, she was little when they came here.
Okay, so she was little when she first moved here, but y'all are in for a treat too. We're gonna have some good things happening with Ashley too.
Okay, thank you. Dennis?
Did everybody see the fireworks show? Was that not spectacular?
It was the best.
And triple our population that comes to see it. The word is out. Used to be a little secret. Kudos to definitely the Public Works folks and the police department for keeping everybody safe. I know there was a lot of crowds, but looked like everybody had a good time. And we appreciate all the work that the city staff does to make this happen, as well as certainly the issue with Joey and the sewage. Is there anything that guy can't do?
No.
He needs a raise. I wouldn't do that for.
Well, and I've talked enough tonight, but again, I can't thank you all personally enough for allowing us to increase our minimum wage, which also gave Joey and the other guys an increase. That's not a minimum wage job. You know what I'm saying? And he was able to get a double boost this year because of the increase in the minimum wage that you all approved. And it means a lot to them.
And without a tax increase.
Yes.
And thank you, Eric. You're the leader, and you're definitely one that leads by example, and you're out there with them.
This group's easy to lead from every department. I mean, we are blessed right now with a staff at every level. I couldn't be happier.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Chris?
Just adding on our millage rate, on being able to go to revenue neutral is a wonderful thing. So your initial bill that you got in the mail will be a smidge lower. On the city side, not on all the other side, we have no control over that. But when it comes to, our budget is based off of that, so. And I just say kudos to Eric and everything that he does with that budget, and he really can work miracles, because we are at him all the time on we want. Or at least I am. On things, whether it's for the departments or, to better the city and stuff. And he always seems to be able to pull that rabbit out of the hat. And for that, I truly appreciate him.
Thank you.
Annette's not here.
I just got a text from Annette, and she said hi from the beach.
Let me add that Scott and Annette both received an award at the Georgia Municipal Association, our get-together in Savannah. We're there for. They received a college certificate of recognition. That means that number of hours you take courses and learn a lot, you get certain certificates. So they hit the first one. So congratulations on that. It's everybody else will be right behind too, because I'm going to get Dennis there. We're going to tell him to tell his
To stop
employer that you can't be there. But no, we have a very active council as far as learning and taking city-related courses. So I'm proud of them. At this time, let me ask: is there anybody that wants to address the council on any issue before we adjourn? Yes, sir. Come up, Darren.
You come up there.
Well, you can stand there.
So I'm Dylan Brown.
Yeah,
I own the Burger Bus, and I just wanted to put a little input. I agree with the young lady that owns Docks, and I know you guys are looking for data. Maybe hear about this a little bit, Chief, but if you want some data, I've been here for 8.5 years, and the previous chief didn't maybe enforce things. What your data is, in 8.5 years, nobody's gotten hurt. Nobody. And we've sold alcohol for 8.5 years. The other thing I want to say is my revenue is down this summer because we aren't following the rules. But that revenue is lost. That's lost on us. We're a small business, family owned. I'm there 6-7 days a week. I'm just asking that you guys consider what that does to us, not allowing. It's important for us. And we've never had any incidents. Knock on wood. But I'm just being honest, for 8.5 years, we've never had incidents, and we've sold alcohol. So that's all I wanted to say.
Okay, Dylan, thank you. Anyone else? Yes, ma'am?
I've been here 15 years. Is there any chance we're ever going to get a grocery store?
I've got another 2 years to serve, and that's one of the things I want to get us moving on. We actually have some interest right now. Unfortunately, Publix 2 times put under contract down here on Howell Bridge, but because there was nothing being built around it, they canceled both times. But we are working on it. We say, well, still, you can get to some in Canton for 10, 12 minutes. But over the years, the traffic starts backing up and at some point, we're going to be stopped. It's going to take us 30 minutes to get to Canton in rush hour and such. So we need it.
There's a grocery store for me, and that is if I can get out of my subdivision.
Well,
Best person to ask
372.
is Scott, a retired Publix worker. He'll tell you how they collect the data on if a grocery store is going to come to your community. It's not just us asking. They look at a lot of things.
They
So.
have multiple houses, We have multiple cars now. No grocery store.
Yeah.
Well, again, that's a priority that I have, and because we have now more people, they used to always look at within what was a 2.5 mile radius. They had to have a number that we didn't hit that number, but we will now. But thanks for bringing that up.
That number again.
Thanks for bringing that up.
Thank you.
Okay, anybody else? Yes, sir.
Yes, Sean, I'm from Mountain Brook North. Real quick question, just how could we go about getting street lights that parallel the road, Dawsonville Road, where the sidewalks are? Because it's very, very dangerous for people to walk those sidewalks at night.
You're talking there between the two entrances of the
Yes, sir.
subdivision?
Yes, sir. Just super, super dark. And just to get it on the books would be wonderful.
Let's check that out. I'm a big walker, and I don't walk over where you are yet. When we connect it, I will, but when I find sidewalks that are dark, he hears me complain about it. But we'll check that out, because again, I think where we have sidewalks, public sidewalks, that you should be able to see at night, so you don't fall. So.
Yeah, just the monuments are lighted there, correct? That's the only
Just a few of
lighting?
them.
Oh, just one of them, okay,
Yeah.
I thought that was on both sides, so.
They're still trying to figure out how to, they're still trying to figure out how to get the power to the number phase 2 and 3. But on one, we have light.
Tom Avery doesn't.
Not across the road.
Yeah, I knew Tommy, yeah, I knew that one, didn't it? But I thought that South Mountain Brook Drive and North Mountain Brook
South
Drive
and north do.
are both, okay, there. But it is dark there. I mean, just that little bit of the light from, the monuments going into the neighborhood, so.
Okay, we'll check that out.
Widely scattered darkness around.
All right,
the
thanks for
evening
that input. Anybody else? Okay, well, it's 8:30 almost, so let's go ahead and ask permission to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
All right, second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, we're adjourned. Thank you for attending.